3 minutes past 9, still watching Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barigi, and of course now, as we're heading straight to our business insight, don't forget to trade with Zabu, a platform from Maltex. We just made your trading experience much more easy and friendly. Now, for you to be a part of this, simply dial *292#, as you'll be available with options to buy government bonds and securities for just as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now the market's open at 8:15 a.m., closing at 3:15 p.m. East African time, effective Monday up to Friday, except from the weekends and the public holidays when you can access these markets. But at least you have the rest of the 5 days to capitalize and make yourself quite a huge profit. Now for yourself, Zab made this a reality. There is no excuse as to why you shouldn't own the government bonds. As like I always say, it's one of the ways you can earn yourself a side income. You know, get some good money for you to offset your trade deficits, which you might have incurred throughout the week. Now, Zab simply says, my money, my future, and Maltex East Africa says, do something new. And now, getting into our insight discussions this morning. Remember, of course, we are already into the budget month, and of course, we anticipate, of course, before the budget reading, there is what we call the State of the Nation's address and the budget reading, and the official budget reading. But for a Ugandan right there that is watching right now, you could be wondering, why do we need a State of the Nation's address? What is the purpose of that? You know, and why is it necessary for the budget to be read publicly? Why doesn't it end into the courts in there as they read it amongst the only people? But why is it read publicly, that it's even broadcasted on various televisions? And now Masika Tsime is on ground with Richard Ayesigwa. He's an economist from Accord to give us further of these insights.
Well, thank you, Baruje, and of course I am out here, and we are going to, as you well know, of course we are in June, and of course we are beginning our financial year 2023-2024, and of course we expect on the 14th of June we are expecting the reading of the budget, and of course next week on Tuesday on Wednesday actually, we shall have a State of Nation address. Now I'm joined with a very special guest who will be digesting with me in regards to the budget, and he will be giving us his view and educate us and give us more information on what the budget. I'm joined with economist Richard Ayesigwa, and he'll be giving us more details regarding the budget. Good morning, Mr. Ayesigwa.
Good morning, Matthew.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm glad to have you on this show. This is Smart Means Business, and of course we shall be talking matters related to budget. And I want you to give our viewers some education on what the budget is for the layman out there. I want them to really have a feel on what the budget is, and of course we start off with what the budget is and how important it is to the people of Uganda.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Good morning, our dear listeners. My name is Richard Ayesigwa, and I work with the Advocacy Coalition for Development and Environment, Accord, as an economist, and to be hosted at Smart 24 today, this morning. Going to what the question that Mercy has asked me about the budget, what it is, and what a layman should expect from this budget. What the budget is, I call it an implementing tool, or it is an implementing tool. And it implements the plans within the National Development Plan, as our the 2024, the agenda for the 2040 agenda, Uganda's 2040 agenda, and the only way that plans can be implemented is through the budget. And for the citizens or the layman, it is important to understand the budget. And one of the things, and one of the reasons why you need to understand the budget is that you need to know what has been allocated. And to the citizens, it is mainly at the district level. And at the district level also, there is also the sub-county. So you want to know what is in the budget that benefits you as a citizen. Is there a borehole? Probably, let's say, if in your area or in your locality, one of the challenges is access to clean water. do we have in this financial year, have we been allocated a borehole to provide us with clean water? If the challenge has been probably, say, a maternity ward at a health center 3, or a placenta pit, or most of those service delivery challenges, you want to know what is provided in there. And then after you have known what is provided in there, it does not stop there. You also want to know, you also want to see that these things are delivered on. That if you were allocated a borehole in a community, that borehole actually has been sunk. But then also you have to monitor and see, is the work that they have done, or the company or the organization that they contracted to do the work, have they done a good work? If they have not, you also have the right to report, not only to the district but also to finance. Finance has a toll-free number where you can voice in your complaints. They also have a website where you can also track what has actually been given to your community and to your district up to the last delivery unit in the district. So knowing the budget, first of all, helps you know what is in there for you, but also gives you an opportunity to monitor and make sure that what was given to you actually you have received it. But then also there are a number of other things that come with the budget. They are going to talk about the taxes, the tax, how these taxes affect you, and you also need to know which things have they levied taxes on. That when prices increase, you expect it actually, and you can plan and be ready to counter whichever things that come your way. Thank you.
Now, this next week, we expect the State of the Nation address. And of course, the next following week, we shall expect budget reading. So, I want to know, what is the difference between the two, the State of the Nation address and of course the budget reading? What is the difference, and of course, why do they come one after the other in the same month? Why not different months or 1 year? 1 year then? Yes, definitely that.
Okay, thank you very much. The State of the Nation address is more of an accountability event. The president is telling the nation where we are as far as how far we have developed in form of where we are in terms of development, from where we were and where we are now. And from where we are, in most cases, they dwell on the previous financial year, or the financial year that is ending, and in this case would be the 2022-2023 financial year. We want to know what have we achieved in this financial year, what things have we done, and in most cases probably, and I might say that in this financial year, one of the important things was the recovery from the COVID and its negative effects. So we want to know, has the economy recovered, or are we recovering? And then if we are recovering, then they give a projection of where we are going. And for us to achieve where we are going now, is how the next budget, which is now the 2023-2024 financial budget, comes in. So first of all, we have an accountability of where we are and the things that we have achieved in this ending financial year of the 2022-2023. And then a forecast of where we want to be and where the financial 2023-2024 budget is taking us. What are the priorities? What are the main things that we'll be looking at, that the budget is focusing on, that are supposed probably to bring about economic development and make us achieve more or move further than where we stopped in the ending financial year. So that is, I think, why the two events follow each other. One is an accountability event that tells us where we are, that also ushers us into the next year, giving us a forecast of what the coming year is going to look like and what we expect to achieve. Yeah.
I must say, is received by a few individuals, mostly those in the formal sector. And I believe the people out there that they do not receive it because the figures are low and people are wondering what is this, what is that, the figures and the figures. Do you think the people really understand what the budget is? Do you think do you think they have made it easier for the person down in the village to understand what these figures mean, or what it means to them as people? What do you think has led to that?
I will say that we still have a long way to go in publicizing and breaking down the budget for the common person to understand it. But at least something is being done. To begin with, just last week, Finance launched what they call the budget month. And the main objective of the budget month is to popularize the budget. And in doing so, there is a lot of activities that are going to take place. And to begin with, there is going to be talk shows. Talk shows, these radio talk shows, TV talk shows, that will mainly be focusing on the priority areas that the budget is looking at, like the policy development model, but also they will discuss what the budget strategy is. They will discuss the recovery programs, like the small and the medium, the small business recovery fund, the agriculture fund. So they will discuss all those funds so that people know and have the information and have the avenues of accessing these different programs that have been put in the budget for them. But then also on top of that, there will be a number of dialogues. And if I may say, Accord will also be holding one around the budget to promote and popularize the budget, to break it down for the common person to understand what is in the budget. We are holding a dialogue around 19th after the budget has been read. And on top of that, I think private sector foundation will also be holding a dialogue to popularize the budget, and it will also be holding regional dialogues in all the regions of Uganda, Eastern, Western, Southern, and Northern. And URA as well will be holding the same kind of dialogues, but now on the tax bit, to show which new taxes are coming up, and what people should expect, what changes they will bring into the budget, but also the forecast of how much they intend to correct, and a number of things like around the budget. But the whole point is aimed at popularizing the budget so that the common person may understand what is in the budget. It is still a long way. Probably I might say that even the approach sometimes limits, because not everyone accesses a TV, not everyone accesses a radio, but there is something being done as we speak.
And of course, I must say that is actually a good initiative for people out there, our grandmothers, our mothers in the village, to digest, to have a feel on what the budget will be, and of course the importance of it all. Now, Richard, we know the budget has increased. Last year it actually was 48 trillion, and now it is at 52.7 trillion. So what does this mean for the people of Uganda?
Yeah, the increase in the budget can be as a result of a number of things. Sometimes it would translate into improved or additional service delivery opportunities. But also sometimes you might find that actually the budget might have increased, but it could have increased for different reasons that are not related to service delivery. And in this case, most of the increase in the budget is going to debt servicing. So which means that not much of the services will be, there will not be increase in the services that we receive as such. So I might say that the increase is good. It projects growth, that we are growing, and we can probably raise more resources from the economy, but also projects that we are recovering from COVID, because domestically, last year we were collecting about 25 trillion as in the domestic revenue. Now we are projecting to collect about 29.7 trillion, which is also an increase, which shows that at least when we are projecting to collect more, that means that we are recovering also. Those are good signs that we are recovering. But also inflation is also coming down. I think currently it stands at 8, at 1, it stands at around 8% from the previous months when we were around 10. So which means we can expect also the reduction in the standards of living, the reduction in food commodity prices, which means this reduction also allows you to purchase more with the same amount of money that you would have used for less things. So the increase is good, although it might not transit into increased service delivery. It is good in a way to show that we are increasing, we are developing, and things are getting back to normal.
Well, now that's quite interesting, and of course, as we look into this budget, there has been a lot that has changed. Actually, I can see there has been a change according to the, disbursement of those monies, and of course, this is a program-based budget, not unlike the past years where it has been ministerial or sectoral. And I want Mr. Richard to actually give us a feel on how different is this program-based budget from the ministerial, or I must say sectoral budget.
Yeah, thank you. The difference between the two approaches, I think the other one was the output-based budgeting that focused on different sectors and on the outputs by the different sectors. And now we transitioned from program-based budgeting. The reason for transiting from output-based budgeting to program-based budgeting, one was to make government more efficient. How? You would find that in one, let's say, sub-county or district, let's say sub-county, the health sector has planned to construct a borehole at the health center. And so then the education sector has also planned to construct a borehole at a school. And then you find that the health center and the school are within the same compound. So as a result, you are having two boreholes in one area, within a space of probably a few meters from each other. And as to avoid duplication of activities, that's why they said that the sectors that are linked, that feed into each other, should be brought together into a program. So that when they are programming and when they are planning, such things are avoided. That when we have a borehole at the health center and the school is 2 meters from the health center, then over 5 meters or what, then we put it at a strategic point where both the school and the health center can benefit. In doing that, the other borehole that has been saved can go to another place that is in need. And that way, it makes government more efficient and improves on service delivery without necessarily duplicating activities. So that is how the two, how we moved from the sectoral planning to program planning, to make sure that we do not have such duplications, but also use the limited resources that we have efficiently and benefit more people than benefiting one and giving them a lot.
Thank you for that great insight. And of course, you as a civil organization, my very last question as we wind up, what do you think you would recommend government to put much emphasis on?
Yeah, definitely there are a lot of things, but given the limited resources The same way applies to us as individuals, that when you have limited resources, you prioritize. And if you are in your family, you say probably feeding will come first and TV will come last. So you will opt first pay to first have a meal on the table before you can watch TV. And I think one of the things that we can focus on currently, one is the climate change. That we can no longer run away from it. We can no longer predict the seasons. And we know that most of the people, and especially the marginalized people, are employed in agriculture, and specifically rain-fed agriculture. They rely on agriculture entirely for their livelihood. So if you cannot predict the season, and if the rains are no longer reliable, that means that they are falling into more poverty. They are at a risk, at a higher risk of sliding into poverty. So prioritizing climate change, things like, I think there is a good initiative that has come up of the small irrigation scheme. It is one of the priorities actually in the budget, where they are looking at least farmers with at least 1 acre, 2 acres of land, not large-scale farmers, and they are partnering with government. It is a World Bank program. The farmers pay 25% and government pays 75% of the irrigation scheme. So you receive that irrigation scheme. The modalities of accessing it and all that can be accessed from the district and the production office. That is one, focusing on irrigation scheme, but focusing on climate change, but also a number of other things, other interventions that all are geared towards countering climate change effects. We see landslides everywhere and people are dying. So that is one thing that we need to focus on. Then secondly, our health sector. A health population is the productive population. If we are sickly, then there is not much productivity we can contribute to the country, and definitely even the economy will not develop as such. So, in my opinion, just note, there are a number of things I could say, but I would say climate change and our health sector, revamping our health sector. We are still being told COVID is around, we are still being told something else is coming. You see, there are a lot of speculations, and we are ill-prepared to tackle or handle any emergencies in relation to health. So strengthening our health sector would be a good start. First of all, when we are healthy. Secondly, when we are alive, we can think about other things and plan and innovate and grow. So I would focus on the two for now.
Okay. Any last remarks on what people should expect on the budget reading day?
Thank you, and thank you for hosting me. One of the things that I will talk about is that we should be interested. We get interested in knowing our budget. It's the only way we can curb corruption. We have talked about corruption, and we know that corruption is a vice in this country. But then you cannot fight corruption as a citizen. You cannot pray your Lord when you do not know what actually belongs to you, what is allocated to you. So knowing the budget also helps put pressure and demand, you get. So know the budget, and also not only the budget, but the whole budgeting process. The budgeting process begins around September for each financial year. There are opportunities for citizens to participate in the budget. Consultation meetings are there, and understanding this whole process and getting involved in it all. There you get to know what is in there that belongs to you, and you guard it jealously. You get you follow through and ask, and you want to know. In this financial year, this health center was supposed to receive a placenta pit. Why haven't we received it? If the contractor has been given a job to do something, and they are stalling on the job, nothing is moving, but we are supposed to receive a classroom block for our school. Follow through, so that we push, and where we can, we make sure that resources increase, so that the few resources are put to good use, And as citizens, we receive the services that belong to us. So let's get interested in the whole budget process and in the budget, listen to the reading of the budget, participate in the different programs that will be airing on TVs, on radios, popularizing the budget. And if you can access the internet, go to the budget website, Ministry of Finance budget website, and know what belongs to you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Richard Sigwa, for that insightful discussion. And of course, we shall yet to have this next week. And of course, the whole month is just dedicated to the budget. And of course, that is all we had for this morning. Of course, we shall go for a short commercial break. We shall be right back.